So, one thing about this Reality with the King podcast is you guys, like I said before, are going to get an opportunity to not only meet these reality stars who are on television, but it's also an opportunity to meet people who have graced reality TV, who I like to consider, even if they were on one season, to me, they're one-hit wonders. Like that's my belief. And to me, the greatest one-hit wonder housewife is none other than Claudia Jordan. Hey, Claudia, girl.
Hey, Carlos. I'm laughing at the one hit wonder. I'm like, good. I guess it's a good thing. Yes. Hi.
No, listen, Claudia, it's a great thing. Claudia, you know damn well that on social media, people constantly reference the episode in which you and NeNe had an iconic back and forth to the point. So, guys, look, before we get into the episode that was titled Puerto Rico, yes, producer, y'all better come with a cute title. Puerto Rico, because it was a read fest, honey. Before we get into that, let me tell you guys how Claudia Jordan came into my life. So, long story short, I was living in Los Angeles working on Hollywood Divas for TV One, and a mutual friend of ours said, "You have to meet Claudia Jordan. Like, you have to meet her." So, I don't go out on the weekdays because I work, but for some reason, I went out on like a random Wednesday, and I was at the Abbey, which is like, the hottest gay spot in West Hollywood. And walked in was this angel in disguise named Claudia Jordan. And
Oh, I don't know if the fans will say I'm an angel. Most 50% of them won't.
no, listen, I think you are so underrated. And I am the reason why Claudia became a housewife
Yep.
because the moment we met, I was like, she is everything a housewife should be, but she's also everything a reality star is. So, Claudia, take the fans back down memory lane of our epic night in West Hollywood at the gay bar, honey. Yes!
Well, back it up a little bit. I had gotten let go from a job that day. I always get another job the day I get fired. Like it's just I don't stay unemployed for longer than 23 hours. That's kind of my thing. So I was crying that day to a couple of my friends because I was on the show called According to Him and Her with Finesse. We were co-hosting, and I thought that was going to be the get me on my way to be a host. And so we just had our production call that day, the same day I met you, and they were different directions for season two. And I was like, oh my God, like I was devastated, right? The same day, we have a couple mutual friends at the time. We were like, let's just go out and just drink. I started drinking, and we went place first, and the second place was when we met you, and they said you got to meet Carlos, and we just immediately clicked. You told me you were going to change my life, wanting to work with me. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I get told bullshit all the time. I mean, living in Hollywood, that's kind of like everyone tells you they're a producer. Everyone tells you that they have the thing that's going to change your life. But you're one of the few, well, maybe two, maybe, that actually came through. Within a month or two, I was at the True Entertainment Network production company in an interview. And they said, everyone loves you. How do we make this work? And there we are. And
Yes, no. Listen, there are so many people, well, let's say women. Back when I was a producer on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so many women stalked me to be on the show. And because I knew what that show needed, I would ignore all of them.
oh wow.
Because I was like, listen, it's a privilege to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So when I met you, I didn't meet you thinking like, let me find a new housewife, because we weren't looking, to be honest with you. So after the epic season of season 6, my biggest thing was always Kenya Moore needs a friend. Because I always felt that Kenya was on her own when it came to her position on the show. And when you told me that you and Kenya Moore were friends, that's when it clicked me like, wait a second, this beautiful woman who is spicy like an enchilada and is can have a good time, but she's organically connected to Kenya. Because that's the thing. You have to be connected to somebody on the show for it to make sense.
Mhm.
So all of that made sense, and that's why I literally fought for you. But no shade to me, they didn't listen to me. So tell everybody how I wanted you to be a housewife. You met with the production company, they loved you, but when you started filming, they said you would be a friend to the show.
They did, and I wasn't wealthy at the time. Things have changed. Um,
Yes!
but and no, just kidding. Nobody hit me up for anything. I don't have any money. I'm broke. No, I wasn't living in a mansion. I didn't have a public relationship. So they were like, "We love you, but how do we make it work?" Well, I had an organic meeting with Ricky Smiley in New York, and he was like, looking at me like, you might be good for my show." So I sat down, tried out, and after the second day, they were like, gave me a contract right away. And it was weird because I told you before, I said, I'm friends with Kenya. I'm also cool with Portia. But it kind of caused an immediate thing when I got the Ricky Smiley show because everyone on the show also does Dish Nation. So they were in the middle of wrapping up her contract negotiation. Some people were trying to get me on Dish. And then some people were like, well, let's just like it. There was a weird 3-week gap. Like if I had gotten that call earlier, I would have been in. But it was just kind of weird. But I was cool with Portia. I used to hit her up and tell her, yo, you're perfect for that show. You're good. Like, we were cool. And I remember I said, if you coming through Kenya, they're going to hate you. If you coming through Portia, it'll probably be easy for you.
Who said that to you?
Did we talk? Was it me and you that talked about it? Or was it someone else? I thought me and you
talked. No. Remember, when I met you that night, I knew that you were friends with Kenya because after I met you at 3 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast time, mind you, Kenya lives in Atlanta, so it's 6 in the morning her time.
Yeah.
I called Kenya like, bitch, I met Claudia Jordan, and I'm finally going to make sure you have a friend this season. So I had no idea you knew Portia.
Maybe it was someone at True. Someone said that to me, and I was like, listen, however you want me to come in, but I definitely am cool with Kenya. I'm cool with both of them. And me and Kenya didn't have a kind of friendship where we talk all the time. Kenya and I may talk once a year. But when we do, it's like no time has ever gone by. Like we pick right back up. It is not a needy friend where I got to check in and when and how come you didn't invite me, which I love low maintenance friendships. I'm there for you when you need me. If someone comes for you unfairly, I'm going to have your back. But I don't do your dirty work. She don't have puppet strings on my back. No one can put a puppet string on my back. If you haven't already figured that out, it ain't happening. But I was cool. I was cool with all of them. NeNe and I have been cool. I did a job for her before. I into this thing like, oh, this is a non-hostile situation for me. I'm cool. So yeah, I think they had Demetria slated to be a housewife at the time. And I was like, okay, cool. She's got the rich boyfriend. She's definitely in the Atlanta scene. I'm not. It is what it is. I was like, this is a cool little gig. I didn't watch it a lot. I just started watching it when Kenya got on. But I was like, this is going to be fun. From another line on my resume. I didn't even go in thinking I was going to be a housewife. I wasn't trying. I was like, okay, whatever's meant to be will be. And then y'all called me to be a housewife.
Let's get into. So before we get into that, because I want, again, so if you guys are listening, I wanted Claudia to be a housewife, a peach holder. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the requirement is wealthy lifestyle, relationship with a husband or a boyfriend or fiance, and have a social scene in Atlanta. So although Claudia was friends with Kenya, she knew Portia, she knew NeNe. I was disappointed when Claudia wasn't a peach holder because, listen, not to brag on myself, but I knew that she was the one. And I felt that because Demetria, who I like, and we all love Demetria, mm-hmm. I never felt that Demetria was a housewife material because she never wanted to film with the ladies because they weren't her real friends. And when she did film with them, they hazed her in a way that was funny, but also was a little bit uncomfortable. And the one thing about Claudia that I always appreciated, like Candy loved you, Cynthia loved you. Yes. You were a easy fit. So I was disappointed until that stormy night in Puerto Rico.
Oh my God.
Claudia, talk to the girls and guys listening
Mhm,
about when you were at that dinner table.
mhm,
This is like your first reality show in terms of ensemble. You did Celebrity Apprentice and all
mhm.
that, but this was your first reality show where it's a group of women.
Yeah.
You know some of these people. What was going through your mind as that dinner conversation in Puerto Rico was happening?
I was like, listen, I had requested a couple days off from the Ricky Smiley show, so I was happy. I just want to go to Puerto Rico to go hit the casinos, gamble, and drink some pina coladas. That's all I was there for. So when I'm at the dinner table, and it, like you said, how the ladies were kind of hazing Demetria, they were being really cruel to Demetria. And by they, it was Phaedra and NeNe. And I just was like, why are they picking on Demetria? Demetria doesn't bother. And like they were kind of coming for her relationship. And I'm like, nobody at this table can talk. None of y'all can talk. So why are you even Phaedra? You need to shut up. Your man's about to, like, you have your drama. NeNe, why are you being mean to this girl? If you're the queen, like, don't come off your throne to be mean to this new girl. Like, kind of embrace her. Demetria is talented, coins, didn't get it by marrying anybody. She makes her own money. And this is not a read, but it's just the truth. I think you should embrace Demetria. So it wasn't really my business, but I'm very uncomfortable saying 2-on-1, 3-on-1. I thought that was rude. I taken a liking to Demetria. So when they were just kind of making fun of her music career, but I'm like, she sings all better than all. She's made more money on her own than all of you, except for Candy. Like, knock it off. Like, that's mean. This woman is just here like the rest of us, like work and be independent. Well, not all of them. So I just thought that was really mean how they were coming for Demetria. And it just personally bothered me. Like, I was like, really? Is this what we doing? Like, we're really going to just haze this girl and everyone's just going to just let it go down. It was cool. So I said something. And that's when, oh, you have a brain? And I'm like, you don't want this. I promise you, you don't, honey. You don't. And I know people are going to say, why are you still talking about this? Because Carlos King invited me on his
No,
podcast.
let's be clear. No, I'm going to defend you really quickly.
Because I can't talk about it without people saying I'm obsessed. And
I don't give a damn. The reason, but this is so funny because it's a very small couple of people on Twitter, which we know Twitter ain't the real world. It's a fun playground where you get to play dodgeball by dodging questions or tweets, or you get to play in the sandbox, right?
Mhm.
So there's times people say to me, I mean, damn, Carlos, you left Housewives 6 years ago. Why are you still talking about it? Cause, bitch, I'm the one who made all of these great moments happen. So when I see y'all tweet about it, I want to play with y'all and have fun with it. So in terms of us talking about this moment, that moment is iconic because of you and NeNe, period.
Mhm.
And this is an opportunity for you to defend yourself because a lot of people felt that, oh, Claudia came for the queen because she wanted a peach.
I didn't care about a peach. I didn't get paid. Okay. Just so y'all know, I didn't go there for money. I was making money in the Ricky Smiley show. I was more booked than I had ever been. Every single weekend, I was somewhere getting thousands of us to make appearances. I was like a drug dealer. I had about $50,000 in a shoebox under my mat, under my bed. Like, I wasn't there for that, like that. Like, no check. I did not sign my contract until the night before the reunion, and then I was able to negotiate for one of the highest first years of any housewife ever in history. They offered me 5 figures, and I got 6. Just to be clear, most of the women got 5 figures their first season. I'm not going to say how much it was because I'm not putting their business out there, but I took no. So if I was that desperate for that, I would have signed immediately. I did not. I didn't. So it's just like I just get I wasn't coming. I was fine with whatever they was gonna give me. I was fine with it. Like, it wasn't like I had an agenda. This all really happened organically. Like me meeting Carlos. I wasn't trying to get a housewife. Me be a friend of the show. I wasn't trying to be a peach holder. Just gave it to me. And usually in my life, I have found when I don't try to get it, it comes to me. When I try to get it, I don't get it. So y'all can please stop with that. I didn't have pre-rehearsed reads. I didn't follow NeNe. I didn't watch her. I didn't know her. But before we went to Puerto Rico, of course I did a quick little search. Like, did I do that? I did a Google search of like, okay. No. And I saw some of the conversations, but I don't pre-record or pre-rehearse reads. I'm very spontaneous, off the cuff. I worked with Jamie Foxx for 4 years with real funny people. So me going into Lion's Den with some some Southern Bells, no shade, but I wasn't like worried about I wasn't worried about it. Honestly, Carlos, remember, I was disappointed when the scene came out. I thought, damn, y'all cut a lot out because it was
Oh, let's talk about that. For me, listen, it's one of those things that I feel like people hate you just to hate on you. I think because you're a beautiful woman and you're sarcastic and you know how to read, you have a dark sense of humor. I think those are all the reasons why people hate you or love to hate you. But I always tell people this: when people hate you, they really love you secretly. And that's the reason why you have a lot of followers. I'm friends with Meghan McCain, and there's so many people who hate her. I recently looked at how many people followed her, and she has like 800,000 followers. And I thought to myself, for a chick who got so many haters, she has a lot of followers, and I feel like that's you.
Meghan McCain used to follow me, fan of the show. She stopped because I made my comments about her. Yeah, but we also, I wonder the psyche of people that follow people that they say they don't like. You know what I mean? I do wonder about that. I do think that the people that actually know me or get to know me, so many times I've heard, damn, you are one way, but you're not. And a lot of times that's kind of just going with what people are saying on social media or getting someone else's opinion. But 9 times out of 10, the people that don't like me haven't met me. You know what I mean? Because once they meet me, it's always like, yo, you a real one, or I didn't know, or oh, TV makes you look like this. No, we're on a reality show. And a lot of times you're in situations you wouldn't normally be in. I wouldn't normally be at lunch with people hostile to me. So you're going to see an ugly side. You're going to see a different side. Or if you like the person that I'm arguing with, it's because you already have preconceived notions or you're just riding for your favorite. But one thing about me you cannot say is that I'm a liar. I'm very, what you see is what you get. Sometimes it takes 5, 6, 7 years, but what I say usually to fruition, and you're like, oh, she wasn't lying. Now, maybe my delivery is very blunt. I get that from my grandma. I'm from people that are like kind of low-key comedians, and they don't really sugarcoat. We've never sugarcoated anything. And that's the kind of medicine that I like to receive. Give it to me straight. When I got to LA, I was so frustrated with how people talk in circles. What are you trying to say to me? And I think people, especially, and I'm not coming for the South, but there is a segment of the population that tries so hard to look like a good Christian publicly, a classy woman, a Southern belle. And I'm not coming for one particular person. It's the culture. And when they package things in a sweet way, it's the equivalent of, I went to a pageant. Miss Georgia was my roommate. And she pinched my cheek and she said, bless your heart. And I basically telling you, you. It's like a down south, fuck you. And so people outside looking in might say, why would you take a, but I think the way people package things up to seem really sweet and kind and almost religious and biblical, but really they're saying or doing something that's really more sinister. So my bad if I call it out. I'm really not for the fakes. I'm just not for the fake. And it really bothers me. So maybe I'm in the wrong industry. And that's why I feel like I'm kind of swimming upstream sometimes. If you like honesty and you like people telling it like it is, then you're probably going to rock with me and you're going to be a Claudia Jordan fan. If you like things packaged that make you feel comfortable and it sounds good or looks good, you're probably going to hate me. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Well, the thing about it is this: I'm a good judge of character, and I went on record saying, I love you, I adore you. You and I have had arguments. Claudia one day cussed me out outside of a restaurant.
It was not a cuss out.
Claudia caused a scene in the middle of West Hollywood and cussed me out.
I never yelled at you.
You don't yell.
I don't. I was just hurt. The reality world, honestly, Carlos, like you said, it's new to me. And I get tired of feeling misunderstood. And that's not your fault. The second show, we just felt like I didn't realize it was so many scenes with people on this fuck Claudia thing. And it was just hurtful, especially when they were poking fun at my sexual abuse. And it was just too raw for me, Carlos. And I just get tired of it. Like I feel like I'm a good person and I just constantly get deemed this person that I'm, you know what I mean? So I'm sorry if it came off and I was coming for you, because you definitely gave me opportunities and I don't think you had wicked intent. But at the time, damn, another one. You know what I mean? Like another opportunity to be seen in a different light. And I thought I was. And then when I saw all the scenes, it was like, I never had beef with Jennifer Williams or reason to. And then this entire show, whore, I'm a bitch, I'm a this. And I'm like, you partnered up with my ex-husband to get our annulment papers to make me look crazy that never got shot in the street. And it just was like, I just felt like I still wasn't getting, you know, people weren't able to see me. And I apologize because you are someone that you're one of my favorite people. You really are. And it talked that for like a couple of years. We really weren't keen and talking, but it was just too raw for me. You know what I mean? Coming up a housewives and honestly, I honestly had anxiety every Sunday when I would watch a show. Me and Cynthia would be on the phone and you guys would send us the episodes so we could write our blogs. But I was like, I go on the show with all, good intent. I get deemed a slut. You don't like when you're a victim of any kind of abuse in your life, and then people use that as their Achilles. They keep hitting you. That's your Achilles heel. It really fucked with you. I felt really up afterwards, and I'm like, wow, a lie about me just got magnified by NeNe, and then her fans just to win an argument. Like you can't show me where I've shown whorish behavior ever in my life. Show me where I've someone's husband. Show me where I've been a gold digger. Show me when a period in my life when I have not worked hard for every single penny. I have a Bentley. I started a production company. I put some plays. This is all by myself, and that's not a flex. Well, yeah, it is a flex because I'm proud. I did it by myself. No man helped me. I've paid every single phone bill and car payment and rent payment and mortgage payment, and then to feel like someone could just be in a scene and just say something to you, just win a scene knowing it's not true, that shit hurts me because people repeat it. I had 14-year-old boys in my DMs that are fans of my ops that are repeating these things, and it was just like 1,000 death by 1,000 little cuts. You know what I mean? So then the second shit, I was like, okay, I can clean that up. And then to see people that I had no reason to have any beef with made it their storyline to deem me this evil person. It just wasn't true.
No, and listen, you don't have to apologize to me at all. I appreciate it, but you don't need to. You're crying and you're emotional. And one thing about being on reality TV is it's not all glitz and glamour. It's not all fun and games. And the reason why I do have this podcast is because it is an opportunity for me to share my show with people like you who I do feel like are misunderstood because even after, and listen, I'm of course poking fun about an argument. Yeah. It was definitely a hurtful situation because I did feel like, damn, Claudia, I always have your back. Like I always fight for you because I think you're so underrated. So were my feelings hurt? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And you and I did not talk for a while because of this, but I never stopped loving you because for me, I tell people this all the time. I do not know what it feels like to share my personal life on TV. And when people tweet you nasty things, it's one thing to get it from the cast because that's just how, certain shows are built.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to have to get that from millions of people as well. And I have known you for, oh my gosh, over 10 years. I've never seen you cry.
I cry a lot, Carlos, see it. And I think people think because you can read a bitch, that means your heart is cold. No, I can read because it's a defense mechanism. It's like, I have no choice. I'm the only one that's like fighting for me that I say. So when you get these attacks, you can't just sit there and look dumb. Then you like got red and you're humiliated. So it's like, I'm defensive. I am defensive. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is hard when you never had. I had no negativity on my Instagram ever, maybe 1 or 2 a month, but I also had like 60,000 followers. Then I got on Housewives, it like multiplied, and then it became like, you're a bitch, you're a hoe, you're ugly, you're not pretty, you're this, and you ain't shit, and you can't get a man, and you might be going through something with your relationship, so that should be stinging when you're acting through a situation where you're having an issue with your relationship. And I just want people to just be more conscious of the things they say. And I know people might say, well, you host a show where you talk gossip. Yes, we talk headlines. But I'm not like crucifying a person they're extremely ill-intended. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And one thing you're not doing, you're not taking shade someone's throwing for the sake of a sport and double downing on it on your show by constantly talking about it's a difference. If you're a celebrity and you're going through a scandal, all bets are off because what you're doing is what the white press is doing.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is because you are a journalist, is when a black journalist talks about a black celebrity, then they're called like, oh my gosh, you're messy. So I'm with you there. But to shift gears back to Puerto Rico, honey, a lot of people felt that you rehearsed your reads to NeNe.
Oh, please. I had memory to rehearse. I didn't expect her to come for me on that trip. So I wasn't prepared like, oh, if she says this, I'm gonna say that. I didn't know she was gonna say spaghetti. And I said spaghetti, you have less spaghetti in your diet. I went to college. College? What school was that? Spell bridesmaids. Everything I said was a reaction to what she said. So how could I rehearse that? Unless she
can you, not to cut you off, how can you rehearse something that you did not know was going to happen? And that's the beauty of that trip. I have produced that show up until that point. That was season 7. So I was on there for, up until then. So it wasn't like you even knew that was going to happen because as the producer of the show that season, we thought it was going to be Demetria versus Phaedra, and then maybe NeNe versus Kenya or Cynthia, because that was the season that Cynthia and NeNe were on the outs.
Yeah.
The only thing you did was open your mouth and say, oh my gosh, are we not even to NeNe. If you guys watch the freaking scene, Claudia says, oh my gosh, are we the collective? Are we really doing this? And that's when NeNe took it upon herself to direct it towards you. That's called common sense, people. How can you rehearse something that you did not know was going to happen?
I just was appalled that NeNe and Phaedra being very mean to Demetria. And Demetria didn't do anything to warrant that. She was kind of minding her own business, trying to be, being protective of her relationship. She wasn't popping off to anyone. She wasn't being disrespectful. So for them to sit there and make fun of her singing here, her music, her relationship. Last I checked, she's the best singer in the group. That's no shady at all because I love Candy. But I'm just saying, like, she's a great singer. She's a great actress. She's independent, and she has done it on her own. So I don't know why they were being so mean. I think I just think we're in a world now where bad is good and good is bad. Like if you're a stripper and you scam dude, and then I gotta like preface everything I say. This I don't want to offend the stripper community. I don't want to offend the gold digger community. I don't want to offend the mistress community. Everything's a community. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say what I want to say. The women out here getting money by ill-begotten ways. Okay, we champion them. Oh, but that's my bitch. She's getting her bread hairs. The women that are out here working their ass off and may not have the same bags, the same cars, the same whatever, or it may take a little bit longer, but they're getting it on their own merits. We demonize them. We overlook them. We dismiss them. They're whatever. Do you know how hard it is to stay in this business 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years? And you did it on your own and merit without fucking someone for a gig? You know how hard that is? These are the kind of women you should want your daughters to aspire to be like. Now, yes, I have a potty mouth, and Demetria doesn't, but my core and my values are good. Why do women like us are so quick to be written off? The woman that takes a shortcut, y'all love that. And then you talk about protect Black women. I think people are full of shit. We say one thing out the one side of our neck, and then really what we're really about is not being represented. And I think we could get back to where good is good and bad is bad. We're rewarding bad behavior, so why would people stop doing it?
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. And that's the reason why I wanted to invite you on, because I do feel like the universe of reality lovers and just pop culture community, they really don't know who you are. Because after that argument, not even an argument, that read session that you and NeNe had, you were fine. You laughed at it and you went back to your hotel room and went to sleep. And what people don't know, and I may have said this before to other people, but I'll say it now. What people don't know is after that scene between you and NeNe having the Read Fest, NeNe came up to me and said, y'all chose the wrong bitch.
Yeah.
Claudia should be a housewife, not Demetria, because Claudia kept her cool and she went toe to toe with me and I respect the bitch. And that's when I said to myself, bitch, you know how to produce a show and you know talent when you see it. So because of NeNe, real talk, because NeNe said that to me, that gave me the clearance to fight again for Claudia being a housewife. Because up until then, she was a friend to the show. And weeks after that Puerto Rico trip is when the collective agreed to make Claudia a housewife. And because of that, unfortunately, we had to work backwards to populate scenes so that you could see Claudia's full life. So unfortunately, I always felt that you were never given the opportunity to express your real life because you weren't a peach holder until a few weeks before we wrapped the season.
And he has said that publicly as well. He said she never got a fair shake. He had some people on the show and they said who should come back. A few people said me. And he said she never really was given a fair shot. And again, people said she has no storyline. She was broke. No, I'm open. I had my furniture delivered from New York. It took 17 days. So it's 15 days me being in Atlanta. Y'all saw me. So we bought some IKEA stuff just to be funny. I don't mind poking fun of myself. So I would take it as I'm broke. I don't got it going on. I was working on a nationally syndicated radio show that had 8 million listeners. I was booked every single weekend. I was working, but like the narrative from y'all, not you, but the fans is she's broken. She had no storyline. If you have 4 months filming and the last 3-4 weeks, you're scrambling to kind of get something on camera, you're not going to really get the full picture. You're not going to get what I was going through. You're not going to get my adjustment into Atlanta and all of my friends and my life. So yeah, I think, but that's just not the case. And I probably should have agreed and come back when they offered me to come back as a friend of the show to re-earn my peach. But honestly, I was going through getting my contract not getting renewed at Ricky Smiley. I was going through a breakup. Everything happened in the same week, and my heart hurt, you guys. As much as y'all think I'm this hardcore, strong bitch, I'm really sensitive. I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive person. I have a heart. It breaks constantly, but I have to put up publicly for what I do. So I honestly was like, let me just go back to LA where I'm familiar with. I know, Atlanta, okay, but I'm out. And I left, and I did a show with you, and then I did a talk show.
Yeah, no, listen, you will always be working in Hollywood because you're meant to be in Hollywood. And like I said to you when I first met you, you're a star, and I believe that even to today. So what's funny is the show you talked about that we did together after Housewives was The Next 15 on TV1, which unfortunately, and I will go on record saying this, that show was a hit of its time.
It was.
And it's funny because so many people now rewatch clips and post clips, and the fans are like, what show is this? How did I miss this? It was under the radar, unfortunately. That show was so funny that even Jussie Smollett texts you and Karamo, because y'all were friends at the time.
Yeah.
And Jussie Smollett mentioned that, well, you tell the story because he texts you guys, not me.
I forgot what he said, but he was like, bitch, like he loved this show. He goes, I can watch this show. Like he was a huge fan of the show. He really was. And I forgot exactly what he said after.
Yeah, he said something like, you two are fools. I love it. And then you two asked him to like tweet about it because we needed the ratings because it was on TV1 and a lot of people did not know where the show was. And I remember him saying to you guys something along the lines of, allegedly, that if he tweeted about the show, it would like taint his career or something.
Jussie, you should have just put the tweet out. Because I think you would have been fine.
Yes. And what's interesting though is a lot of celebrities are now coming out of the woodworks praising reality TV. So I'm with them. I'm like, Jesse, like I know Empire is the #1 show on TV at that time, but I don't think your career is ruined if you tweet that you're watching reality TV. I never understood why certain celebrities think that way. I never understood that.
Everyone wants to be grander than they are and just, everything. So I can't, my brand. I need people to retire the damn word brand. I'm so sick of it. Everybody would have don't have a brand. Not saying Jussie did not. It's like my brand this, my brand that. Your friends are on the show and you like it. Keep it wrong with that. Listen, I watch Maury Povich and Jerry Springer all the time. People say that's trash TV. That shit is funny as hell. I love it. And I've guest hosted on Maury and I will do it again. Like I just need people to stop being so fake. If you like it, you like it. Be unapologetically you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Do you guys? When was the last time you spoke to Jussie?
I reached out to him and all that stuff was going on, but I didn't hear back from him. And I have a video of him like singing "Happy Birthday" to me, and we used to hang out. It's so sad, you know. Like I'm always like the what if person. Like, what if he's not lying? What if? Because I think there's always a possibility of, you know, a different. I always think of it could always be a different explanation of what we think it is, you know. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And listen, I have met him a couple of times. I mean, you and Karama were friends with him. I met him a few times. He truly, truly was one of the sweetest people
Yeah.
that I ever met. Like, the boy was beyond nice and fun. And that's just in my short time of being around him. So really, I really have prayed for him, and I will still continue to pray for him, because whether or not he's guilty or innocent, that's between him and the Lord. But I just want him to get back to being the sweet, humble guy he was, because that there was a human spirit there, and I'm hopeful that he'll get back to that.
Wouldn't it be funny if the full circle moment is you and I produce his show? We'll call it Resurrecting Jussie, and we bring him back to life. We clean up, we show the why, and we make him go to therapy, and then we end up getting him back likable again, and we change public perception. Paulette, when you get out of prison, just Kingdom Reign and Claudia Jordan Productions got a show for you.
Yes, Jussie return would be reality TV. Yes.
Actually, I wanted to do a show with Jane Kennedy, Resurrecting Jane. We talked about it, a meeting with her.
Did.
I think we could do a series, you and I, Carlos, where we resurrect a career that has had horrible press or had a big mistake, and we could do that every year. What do you think about that?
Listen, me and you talk all the time.
And yes, I'm pitching you a show right now.
It's okay. You always do. And I'm always like, this one's good, Claudia. Let's work on it together. And I do feel like you and I will work together again. I'm not too worried about it. It's going to happen. Yes. Speaking of which, so you now live in Dallas.
Yeah.
And Real Housewives of Dallas has been put on hold. Would you ever return to the Real Housewives? And if so, would you be open to doing Dallas?
Absolutely. I feel like I went into Housewives very green. You know what I mean? And now I know the game. Not that I want to be all fake, and I still want to be authentic, but I know a little bit better, like, okay, get a little bit more glam, or, you know, someone can hijack a scene. Because I went in there really like, no, I'm really trying to fix this problem. And then the girl on the other side of the table is like, I'm just trying to make you look stupid and read you. And I'm like, oh, I didn't really realize. I thought we was being real, but we're not. Okay, got it. I would definitely do it. And I did a interview with Real Housewives of Dallas. I was in LA, did a Zoom call with them, and I was
Wait, hold on. You auditioned to be on the Real Housewives of Dallas? I didn't know this.
Yeah, they called the production folks. So I was hanging out with Deandra. We hung out a couple times. And I think they was trying to bring a little diversity to the show. So we times. And she was like kind of fighting for me. And so I had a Zoom meeting. But honestly, the day of the Zoom meeting, I just got Fox Soul. So I was literally commuting from Dallas to LA Monday morning, going on the air night and leaving Friday. So I was like, well, I can only give you the weekends and maybe a Wednesday. Like, they'd asked for pictures of my guy's house, my place. Like, we had gotten that far. So then when that couldn't happen, it was like they moved on. And they had been talked to a bunch of Black women in Dallas. Listen, it is a huge mistake that the Dallas franchise not into the Black women in Dallas. When I tell you, I've never been in a city where the Black women are so successful, way more successful than their men. These women own trucking companies, they own lines, they are interior designers, they run nonprofits. And I say money, this ain't no entertainment money where let me look like I'm money and I rent designer clothes. These
Shade.
are people. Yeah, your friend. Anyways, these are people that actually buy stuff. They don't ask for hookups. They actually have money. And not
Shade.
just money, but it's like they actually have real businesses. You know what I mean? So they're missing a huge opportunity. They're sassy, they're funny, they talk shit, and we all are friends. There's a group of us that's like they're missing a huge opportunity, but that's okay, Carlos, because we're gonna do alpha women.
Yeah. Wait. So if you guys would like to see the Real Housewives of Dallas resurrected with Claudia Jordan a part of it, tweet us and let us know your thoughts on that, because I so happen to think that's a great idea. But if not, don't worry, I'll do it with someone else.
Why not? I mean, ain't like
Yes.
we ain't had no interviews already.
On that note, well, look, Claudia, I enjoy you for taking time out of your very busy schedule, being a host of so many shows on Fox Soul. You are like the queen of Fox Soul. Like, you really are.
I think that.
No, you are. You are. So tell the world where they can find you, follow you, all that stuff.
I'm very proud of our work. Actually, when I got on the network, we had about 200,000 views. And now I'm proud to say I'm a big part of the 80 million views. More than half of them have come from my shows that I've created, shows that I've co-hosted or brought and or partnered up with. And we are really thriving. There's been other people who've been trying to do the streaming thing, like Quibi. I think DreamWorks put $2 into it and they failed within 6 months. Here we are going into our 3rd season. And this is all Black talent. And shout out to James Dubois, gave me this opportunity. And actually, like, we built this trust now where I can bring him projects. And he's like, yeah, makes sense. And we're making the network is doing really well. We are comparable to other networks like the BETs as far as numbers are going right now. So BET Plus and her and all that, we're like right in the same conversation. And it's just great to be a part of it from like the beginning, and just watch it thrive. And I plan to bring more shows. Shout out to T.S. Madison, fantastic talent. I brought that show over to Fox Soul, and I'm very proud of that. So we got more shows coming.
Wait, you're the EP of the T.S. Madison show?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I have to brag.
Claudia, you need to start humble bragging. You are, oh my, I didn't know.
Yeah. And I create.
That was huge.
T.S. Madison, I became cool, and I just loved her. And she always talked about wanting to have a talk show, and she had a sizzle, and took it to James, and I was like, we have to pick up this show. And at first, it was like, oh, I don't know. He was worried about much gossip. I go, this is a different show. It's a variety show. And the goal is to not be a transgender show, a successful, funny, heartfelt show that just happens to be hosted by a talent that is transgender. And that's the goal. And it is resonating. People love her. She has the right moment where she can be funny, where she's funny, and also is able to draw people out and get them to be open with her. And I'm out of that. So I'm grateful that she even trusted me to take that on, and James for even I was on the phone with him so many times, it was supposed to happen a while ago, it didn't, and I begged him. I'm like please, and he was open to it, and he loves it. He's very happy with it as well. It's doing great numbers too.
Congratulations, Claudia.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Follow her at Claudia Jordan on Twitter and Instagram. And you never know, you just may see that beautiful face again on TV. So thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Carlos. Love you, Carlos. I'm glad we got to do this.
Love you, boo.
Bye.
Mwah.